get this underway, listen, humans, remember what I'm saying. I need you to really applaud really big for these people because a lot of them, it's going to be their very first time actually doing stand-up comedy. And it's really, really scary to get up here. I know you see people and you go, I can do that shit. That's the voices in your head, all right? Or you have a very supportive mom who really doesn't like you, all right? So I need you to really love them up big. And this first comic, man, I gotta tell you, I don't know if you guys are familiar with me, but this is what I do. I host everything. Drive-bys, cockfights, right? So this is my job, all right? Now, dig these apples, right? I met this guy a couple of months before the Brainwash closed in December. Yeah, you familiar with the Brainwash? That was a great place, wasn't it? There you go. I have so many stories of stuff that happened in the bathroom. Anyway, because I'm a dog. And at any rate, humans, dig these apples, all right? This guy, immediately when I saw him, I thought, this guy is fantastic. So everybody, I really need you to love him up big. Here he is. Give it up for Nick Scarpino.
I only have 5 minutes up here, so you guys just ate up 30 seconds. Thank you, I appreciate that. That's really good. Show of hands, or actually clap, rather. How many people are actually from San Francisco proper? That's where I like to go. Where do you two live? Where do you guys live? Sunset area, okay, fantastic. Have you all seen these free scooters that they have? What the fuck are these things, right? Like 1 second the city was totally fine, and then like these things just started popping up like tech herpes. It was just disgusting. And like, you know they actually had to outlaw these things. Like the city banned these things because they kept winding up in the bay. So, it's true, no, that's a true story, that's not a joke. So the downside is that these things keep winding up in the bay. The upside is that these things are really fun to throw into the bay. So if anyone wants to join me after this, we'll go find some and kick those motherfuckers in. I actually don't think anyone's throwing those into the bay. I think they're actually killing themselves. You know, because I feel like if my only two choices were death or being ridden around by a bunch of marina douchebags, just ride me over to the Golden Gate Bridge right now and send me the fuck off. Yeah. I recently discovered something about myself. I hate clowns. My friend took a picture of herself with a clown and tweeted at me, and I had a very visceral reaction to it. I was like, I cannot deal with clowns. And I feel like the reason I hate clowns is the same reason I hate homeless people. Stick with me on this. I feel like it's because a clown is just a homeless person who has realized their higher aspiration in life. You know, like a lot of homeless people, we have a horrible homeless, a lot of homeless people are out there right now just thinking, how can I annoy the taxpayers just a little bit more? Oh, I know, I'll throw giant shoes into the equation. That's how we're gonna do it. As a lot of you guys know who follow me, I am on a low-carb diet. It's not working. But I did give myself a cheat day the other day. I know, it was fantastic. It got me thinking. I was like, why don't we have cheat days in other aspects of our lives? Like taxes or marriage. Why can't we do that? And it's not like I want to do anything crazy. I would probably end up doing the exact same thing I did for my last cheat day, which is just go to Taco Bell and eat until I throw up. So that's that. That's it for my new stuff. How you two are cute. Are you guys married? No? Just started dating? Brother and sister. Define your relationship for me. Tell me everything about yourself. No, how? Met in therapy. You guys met in therapy. Is she your therapist? Have you been kidnapped? Blink once. How long have you guys been dating? 6 months. Oh, that's good. Okay, so it's moving along. You thinking like maybe no? He's just like no, don't. I'm married. I've been married for about 6 years. Thank you. You learn a lot from the opposite sex when you've been married to one of them for 6 years. For example, do you know what women hate? When you start off sentences like that. Oh, they don't like it. I'll say it to my wife every once in a while. I'll be like, you know what women hate, babe? And she'll go, no. What do women hate? Now, sir, when and if you do decide to pop that question, let me give you a piece of advice. When your wife answers your question with the same question, she doesn't want the answer to that question. Okay? Just maintain eye contact and back away slowly. That's what I need you to do. Oh, man, I had a weird thing happen to me the other day. I pulled my car over to get a cup of coffee, and a girl got into my back seat because she thought I was her Uber. Yeah. And she looked at me, and I looked at her, and neither of us knew who was supposed to be scared in that situation. And it turns out it still gets to be her. It does, yeah. Because I know what you got. Come on, women, you know what she was thinking, right? She was thinking that even though she got into the back of my car by accident, that I was still thinking that she wanted to have sex with me. And I was thinking that. I don't know why I was thinking that. But like the rational part of my brain was like, she clearly got into your car by accident. But my dick was like, or did she? Maybe she's really into 12-year-old Honda Accords. And ladies and gentlemen, on that one, thank you so much. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Hey humans, you know what? This next comic, man, I met this guy very briefly, but he's definitely one of those guys that you can tell is a sensitive soul, and that he probably got beat up a lot in school, which is most of you guys, right? Anyway, so you really should be able to relate to everything he says. I really want you to give him some big love. And girls, consider touching his thigh later. All right? All right, just consider. You don't have to do it, all right? Unless a credit card is involved. Anyway, I'm fucking with you. Hello. But this guy, man, what a really funny and very memorable person. I'm fucking with you. I know what his name was. Everybody, give it up big for this really great guy, Kevin Coello.
Tony, we've met a whole bunch of times, but that's fine, all right. So I have this cat, all right? His name is Thomas. That's Thomas with an apostrophe named after the English muffin. Because, as you may have noticed, I'm fat. And I have brand loyalty. So we adopted this cat from a high kill shelter, which sounds super nice. But in all honesty, that's the best way to get a free cat. But you get what you pay for, because he's fucking weird. He's constantly scared, and he says weird shit. So we live right next to Bart. And every single day, Bart comes by, gives our house a little shake, and every single day he runs out, what the fuck just happened? And it's like, dude, it's the Bart. It's always the Bart. You know, the other day I woke up and he was sitting on my chest. His little paw pressed against my neck. His claws fully engaged. And I knew, folks, if I had slept for just a few more moments, I wouldn't be here telling you this story now. Then I remembered I'm way, way bigger than him, and I just tossed him aside. So I think I handled that situation pretty well. Although he started doing this thing recently, every time I jerk off, he likes to jump on the nightstand and just kind of watch. Yeah, but he's not like enjoying it. He watches kind of like a parent at a soccer game. But not like the good parent that wants to be there and wants you to succeed. No, I'm talking about the shitty parent that's only there because mom had to go to the doctor's office and Tom wasn't doing anything, so he's taking you. And he's just staring at me the whole time, and I can see it in his eyes. He doesn't want to be there, and honestly, I don't want to be there either. Anyway, so yeah, he watches me masturbate a lot because I think I might have a problem. Yeah. But my wife hates it when I talk about sex. I think her problem is she doesn't like forcing you people to imagine me naked. But I love it. Not forcing you to imagine me naked. I just... Did I make you do it?
I don't know what.
Alright, well... Did I make you imagine me naked?
Oh no.
No. Did you give me a good dick? Did you give me a good dick? I got a great dick. Not size-wise, but it's sturdy. Anyways, that's my time. Remember, I'm Kevin with the sturdy dick. I'll see you guys later.
Come on, y'all. You know what? Ending on a dick joke is a sign of a professional. All right? And anybody who brags about their dick, it's not that good. All right? Trust me, ladies. Trust me. You know, you already know, huh, Blondie? Huh? All right. That is so funny. All right. All right. It's Andy, right? His name. Okay. I remember everybody, man. I'm a professional. Everybody, listen. This next comic, man, this young man, really fine young man. I hope he's an actor because he has a great look. He could play a really cute gang member on Nickelodeon. All right. Everybody, I need you to really go big for Andy Cortez.
Gonna put that on my resume. So this set's gonna be in 2 different parts. So it's gonna sort of flow, and you guys just gotta keep up with me, right? Because I'm gonna be going nonstop, right? You ever see the news, and there's like a story about a guy who killed his wife, and it's like, what a horrible dude, right? Like, terrible person, murdered his wife, killed the kids too. It's just like, wow, what a fucking piece of trash. I also like, how does he have such a healthy head of hair, right? And it's crazy because now these kids they're gonna grow up without parents. They're not gonna have, they are essentially growing up without parents because he's gonna be in jail. And it's just like, if there's a hell, I hope he rots in it. And also not even a sign of male pattern baldness. Like, what's up? Where's the justice, man? I mean, because these kids, they're gonna grow. It's gonna be terrible for them. There's gonna, they witnessed the murder themselves, and like not even a fucking receding hairline on this dude. Like, it's crazy, man. All right, that's part 1 of the set. Thanks, guys. Thanks. The second part of the set is kind of weird because these are all jokes that I've written in the last 10 years. So a lot of them are very, very topical. They may be really out of time. So I just hope you all understand the references. Also, I used to live back in Austin, so a lot of them are kind of local to Austin. Any Austinites in the crowd? Cool. Oh, fuck. How many of y'all been to Austin? Yeah. Okay. But only 2 people live there? Fuck. All right, well, I'm just gonna go with it then. Let's see here. Very local joke shit. I got kicked out of the Alamo Draft House for using my phone. I was like, damn, who snitched on me? City Council member Mike Martinez? Because Mike Martinez is the one who led the ordinance to ban driving while you're texting. So, very local. I was at the DMV and it was like, man, 4 hours waiting there. It's like 1 more hour. And I might as well have stayed in line at the Whataburger on South Lamar Boulevard, right? Very long line to that Whataburger in Austin, Texas. This one's not really local, but it's kind of old. You guys hear about Robin Williams? He went from being bicentennial man to the man on the bicentennial dollar coin, Dwight Eisenhower. This wasn't about the suicide. Yeah, because this joke is from 2013 when he played Eisenhower in that movie, The Butler. Lee Daniels, The Butler, so not about the suicide. This one's pretty dated too. You hear about that Steve Bannon guy? He's an alt-right member, super terrible human being, white supremacist, and now he's the chief executive of Trump's presidential campaign. I guess this was from last year. Also, I mean, what the fuck? Super thick head of hair, man, on that guy.
He got the fuck out of here, man. Like I was gonna stab him or something. I'm not gonna fuck you up until we get outside. Too many witnesses. All right. That is funny. Hey, okay, shit, Tim. Hey, this next comic, really funny guy, man. I really want you to love this guy big. He looks really sharp and really polished. It's always a plus. Everybody, give it up for Tim Gettys.
The walk and talk thing, because that feels better. So I'm a Bay Area kid. San Francisco, born and raised. There we go, got a couple of them. And with that comes a lot of privilege. And when you add on top of that the fact that I'm a white dude, the most conflict I've ever seen in my life is when me and my friends were getting into fights over what the best taqueria in the city is. Now, obviously, it's Gordo's. But perhaps more obvious is the fact that those arguments shouldn't end in tears. So often they do. Nobody should be that passionate about burritos. But here we are. Your taqueria of choice says a lot about you, but not as much as the car that you drive. All right? Now, if you live in San Francisco, there's only 3 categories of cars that you might drive. Category 1, you drive a Prius. Category 2, you drive other people around in your Prius. Or Uber, or Lyft. Now, category 3 is an either-or. Either you own a Tesla, or you exclusively get driven around by people in category 2. I'm lucky enough to be a category 1. I love my obnoxious blue Prius C. I installed a 12-inch subwoofer in the trunk, just to ensure that I'm most people's least favorite type of person. And I've been like that for ever, really. Back when I was a dumb kid, man, all kids are dumb, but especially little boys. Little boys are creeps, man. And I don't know where they get it from, but somehow it's just instilled in them. And I also don't know how these little boys get their hands on Barbie dolls. But every little boy does at some point in their life. I didn't have sisters, but somehow I got it. And what's the first thing a little boy does with a Barbie? He bangs that thing against all his action figures. How do we escalate so quickly, from Spider-Man and Batman teaming up to save the day, to the 4 Ninja Turtles? Straight up taking turns with Barbie, while Master Splinter watches. And now the most fucked up part about it is no kid was lucky enough to have the original Ninja Turtle toys. So it would be like the original Raphael, but then it would be like Arctic Thunder outfit Leonardo. And then you got like pizza throwing Michelangelo. And then you got like, the Donatello in a trench suit, trench coat, which I guess makes a lot of sense. I also had a NBA player Charles Barkley action figure from the hit 1996 movie Space Jam. And in my childish innocence, I thought that it was just the Black Ranger out of costume. Now you might say that's racist, and it probably is, but it's not my fault. You learned that from somebody, right? Probably my parents. And when I think about it, That explains why in my stories Optimus Prime always walked around with his big swinging dick out. But it was an innocent time back then. I remember being a little kid on the playground, and little kids, when they hear something they've never heard before, they freak out. It'll just blow their mind. This kid walked up to me. I was like 8 years old. He goes, "Hey Tim, do Pokemon say their name, or are they named after what they say?" That was that day I learned that geniuses exist. But then those dumb kids grow up, okay? And when those dumb kids grow up, they're not so cute when they say stupid things. I was about 20 years old, me and my boys hanging out, we were having a good time. And one of my best friends, grown-ass man, was talking about this experience he had with a girl. And he was just trying to be cool, Mr. Cool Guy, right? And he was just like, "Man, there is nothing hotter than a girl in lingerie." Now, ladies and gentlemen, I see a lot of grown dumb kids out here. That's not how you pronounce that word. Thank you very much.
He's going to be on the White Privilege Tour. Make sure you go and check that out. Is everything okay?
Just raising it up a little bit.
All right. He's having a problem hearing. Now I forgot who the fuck was next. All right. And I never forget who's next. That's going to be Greg. No, don't do that. Hey, I gotta tell you something. Out of this whole crew, this guy has been the most grounded and the most helpful, all right? And that's very, very important to all of us here because no one really knows what they're doing. Everybody, I need you to go big for this guy. He's really beautiful and wonderful and funny. Everybody, give it up for Greg Miller.
And when I was a child, I used to piss into a Dixie cup and throw it behind my dresser. And you might say, "Greg, why would you do that?" And the answer, of course, is simple. Kids are fucking stupid. I've thought back on this many, many times. Why would I piss into this Dixie cup and throw it behind the dresser at night, right? And you might say, well, you know, it was nighttime. Were you scared of the dark? No, I wasn't scared of the dark at all. Was the bathroom far away? No, the bathroom was right outside of my room. Take a left, there it is. I've thought back and I have two reasons on why. Number one, I'm pretty sure it's because I'm that lazy. It would be the fact of, you know, like you're curled up, you're cozy in bed. Now as adults, you say, "Man, I gotta pee, I don't want to get out, but I gotta pee, get up and do it." At some point, I said, what if I cut out the middleman? I'll bring one of the Dixie cups from the bathroom for mouthwash in there, put it on the dresser. Whenever this need arises, stand up, don't get out of bed. Walk to the edge of the bed, reach across Dixie cup, piss into it, into the corner, put it down. And the second reason I think I did it was because I wanted to know what would happen. Kids are fucking stupid. I wanted to know what happened, and it turned out what happens is, when you move, your mom goes, "The cat's been pissing in the corner." Fucking got it. Fucking got it. But no, kids are incredibly dumb. How many times I went to see some friends in Missouri, right? And their kid was hanging out with us, having such a great time with us. All this kid wanted to do, a 5 or 7-year-old, I don't fucking talk to him. All this kid wanted to do was hang out with us. And finally Dad's like, "All right, cool, we're going for pizza." Yay! He gets all excited, runs around the house. Dad goes, "Put on your shoes." And the kid just goes, "No!" And falls on the ground. And I'm like, fucking put your shoes on. It's the easiest thing someone can ask for you to get pizza, but I forgot the number one rule. Kids are fucking stupid. Another example from my own childhood. My parents, amazing people, blue collar people. Dad, a member of the local 150, heavy equipment operator, crane operator now. He built most of the buildings you've seen in Chicago. Mom would take care of me during the day, meaning that she saw the majority of my psychoses, right? 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., she was like in the fucking shit. She probably has PTSD to this day about it. Dad would come home from building these buildings, he went out at 5 in the morning. He's exhausted, but he knows he's just got a few hours. Keep the kid alive a few hours. That's all I have to do. How crazy can he be? This, I think, is the most crazy I ever was. Dad takes me into the bathroom. Again, I'm 5 or 7. I don't fucking know. Kids are fucking stupid. And I drop my pants, and I drop my undies, and I'm sitting there pissing. And Dad's over here doing something, making sure I don't kill myself, because that's what dads do. And he goes, doing his thing, and I go, I wonder if you could poo standing up. And spoiler alert for where this story is going, you can. So I do exactly what I set out to do and discover, yeah, you fucking can. But then I realize I'm in over my head as it coils in between my legs. And I look at my father, and he looks at me, and this is where I'm the most embarrassed in the story. What I go is, I didn't know I had to go. Now, as a 5-year-old, that might make sense. As a 35-year-old, this shit has never snuck up on me like that. Have I had close calls? Have I had races? Of course. Have I had accidents? We're humans, right? Yeah. Tony, are we humans?
We are human.
We're humans. It happens. But I looked my father dead in the eye and said I didn't know it was going to happen. How he didn't take off his belt and beat me to death, I don't know. Celebrated a year of being married on May 1st. Thank you. There is absolutely no follow-up to that. I just figured this is my only time ever doing stand-up. I know if you say that, you get a big laugh. Claps and everything else. Everybody's really happy about it. But I do have something to announce here, my final thing. I'm excited to announce my wife and I are expecting our first child in December. For the record, I'm just making a joke. I jizz in Dixie cups. Thank you!
With the kind of shit he did, I wouldn't want to have children. There you go. Just shit. That is so nasty. Anyway, I have children. I don't know them, but I have them. Yeah, they don't really talk to me. The youngest one, she carries a knife and always wants food. Humans, listen to what I'm gonna say to your face hole. Everybody, dig these apples. This next comic, not only is she wonderfully funny, she is a very beautiful woman. All right, so. Some of you guys are going to be dreaming about her later, all right? Because we know how lonely you are. I can smell it in the room. All right. At any rate, she's really, really beautiful and funny. Everybody, give it up for Elyse Willems.
Conspiracy theorist. I think 9/11 was an outside job. I just don't know how those planes fit inside the building. I have my notes written down because this is the first time I've done stand-up ever. Thank you. You can clap for that because you won't be clapping later. Stand-up isn't really my passion. I love comedy. I work for a YouTube channel that makes comedy for my day job, which is kind of a fallback when the Harlem Globetrotters didn't work out. That was mostly a passport issue, though. They don't call them the Harlem Steak Putters. But yeah, so that's the best. Yes, I do work on YouTube, which is kind of a human cesspool. You're familiar with it, I can tell, a lot of you. Mostly, the most negative comment I get is that women aren't funny. And I see that often, and I think that women have to try extra hard to defeat that stereotype. You've got to be 3 times as funny as a man. I've had to resort to all kinds of things, like, sticking half a cigar up my vagina and pretending it's like a hardened cop. You know, like don't give me any lip rookie. I got enough lip already. I'll show you busting balls. But yeah, I don't get to talk at schools anymore. But I think I scared those kids straight. But yeah, a woman online, you're gonna face some harassment. I had this guy that he started sending me flaccid dick pics, and I went to the cops and they told me I was gonna need harder evidence. I work for this channel and I work. My husband works there as well. You might know him. He's gonna come up after me. We have a pretty good relationship. I think relationships have the same issues across the board. The same issues they had 100 years ago, 500 years ago. Heck, even cave people had the same, relationship issues we had now. Back then, though, it was, the cave woman stayed home and she was a gatherer. The caveman was a hunter. And that life was a bitch. I would have hated to have been a gatherer, okay? Because can you imagine, like, you're me, you're at home, you're gathering all day, you're doing this for 8 hours, and like, it's exhausting, and you just learned how to walk on 2 feet like 3 days ago. And your cave husband comes home, and he's been hunting all day, oh, big deal. And he just walks in, starts traipsing mud all over your clean mud. And you're like, what is this? He's furling his brow at you, because he always is. That's just what it looks like. And you notice that he's got some, like, berry juice on his pelt, and you're like, that's the berries from across the river. I don't gather those berries. Where did he get those berries from? So you start confronting him, and he says that he gathered those berries. This guy didn't gather berries in a day in his life, okay? And so you're like, well, is he cheating on me? And you can't leave him because, the other tribe hasn't discovered fire yet, and that's a whole other thing. I had to consult my notes. The caveman bit was the most I had. I'm Canadian, and they hear that you're from Canada and they think that makes you exotic, but really we just didn't get as many TV channels as you did. And like, kind of the best thing we ever did was shoot Drake when we did make quality TV. I currently have a green card and I think about getting naturalized, but there's just so many tensions here. Like, it's been 7 months since the McRib was in stock, and I just don't know if I want to live like that. But, I have a bad rap for liking McDonald's. I wish I was a bit more feminine in some ways. I wish I was, one of those ladies that went to brunch all the time and wore cute shirts that say, like, rosé all day. Like, celebrating that. Because, like, you never see, like, some homeless guy come out from under a bridge wearing a Strychnine Till I Flatline shirt. Like, for some reason, that's not acceptable. Let's see, I already did my 9/11 joke. Anyway, well, I think that's probably it for me, unless you guys have problems. But thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
Says that women are funny and stupid motherfuckers fuck them. Because she was fucking hilarious. Don't you agree? Shit, I want to book her on the show right now. Alright? There you go. Hey, humans, like she said, her husband is coming up after her. He's really pretty too. So for those of you guys, Hawaiian shirt, put in your bid while he's up here, alright? You never know. You might be able to sway him. I know he's so pretty he couldn't make it in prison. He would not make it. Anyway, everybody, it's James, right, brother? James. Give it up for James Willems.
Thank you. This is gonna be a disaster. At least I know I can count on some gay sex tonight. So Tony's been calling us comics all night. I think that's maybe a generous description of what we're doing. I, like Elyse mentioned, I work in YouTube. I do a lot of YouTube comedy videos. And it's a different thing than it used to be. Like classic artists, classic comedians and professionals, they knew how to sing, they knew how to dance, and they knew how to do all these amazing things. They could do comedy and jokes and stuff. But YouTubers kind of just know how to sometimes not say the N-word. Like that's like as good as they can get. And there's a pretty big distinction there. So it was pretty intimidating for me to come into this situation, like, oh my God, I have to do stand-up comedy. This is a whole different beast. This is pretty big deal. I actually do a lot of stand-up comedy, but it's mostly in the shower. And that's way easier for me because it's always with an audience who's like, you know, is gonna enjoy it. I always laugh at myself. And the two old naked guys at the 24-hour fitness locker room laugh at me too. So that's pretty easy. But I tried to watch like a lot of stand-up comedy, and there's a couple things that I noticed, and there's this one moment, I'm like, this is the worst moment, I hope it doesn't happen during my set. The worst moment in stand-up comedy is that one moment when the guy on stage farts, right? And when that moment was 15 seconds ago. And when you're in the audience, it kind of sucks. You guys actually laughed at a fart joke, which is a good sign. A really easy audience. It's like if I was 15 years old and then someone was like, here's Kate Upton, she's gonna just, no matter what happens after you have sex with her, like, she's gonna say you did great. You did amazing. I loved it. I don't really like to talk about sex that much, but I will give you a little insight into my relationship with Elyse. She was up here, she did amazing. She's Canadian, kind of as she mentioned, and you don't necessarily know it just by looking at her. She just kind of comes across as a cool chick. But she has some tells. For example, when I ejaculate prematurely, she apologizes. That's one of those things. Yeah, that's what it is. But sometimes I think about, you know, like what it would be like to kind of have sex with anyone. And don't tell my wife I'm saying this, but. But like VR is kind of getting to that point where you can put on a mask and then you can basically have sex with anyone. But my problem with that scenario is, just like with regular porn, I spend more time wondering like what the guy does for a living to pay for that house. I was like, is that a lap pool in the back? He's just like plowing her. But I'm going, it must be finance. What does he do? But anyway, I appreciate the technology. I may not be able to take advantage of it. I appreciate the technology. Self-driving cars is like a huge thing now. I'm really excited for self-driving cars, but every single time, it feels like every couple weeks, there's another news story. Oh no, there was a crash, self-driving car crash. Oh my God. But for me, I'm like, that's a pretty good ratio. Like the number of cars on the road and the number of crashes, like that's a pretty good ratio. Like I'll take it. It's kind of similar to the porn industry. Like once every 2 years, they'll go, did you hear about the AIDS scare? There was an AIDS scare in porn. And I'm like, yeah, it sounds like they're doing a really fucking good job. Because they're coming everywhere on everything. And there's like one person that maybe has AIDS. Like I'm like, that's pretty good. You know, I like following the news though. There was a pretty interesting story I read recently. People are worried that vaccinating their dogs is gonna give them autism. And it's like weird. It's weird for two reasons. The first is that whole anti-vaxxer bullshit. That's bullshit, okay? You should get vaccinations. It doesn't cause autism. That's bullshit. And the second reason is dogs already have autism. Like, have you ever seen, like, a dog is just, like, always kind of like, hey, Bobo, come here. Like, kind of, no. Like, Bobo, you want to go fetch? No, not really, no. Like, all the symptoms. It has all the symptoms of autism already, so who gives a shit? Vaccinate them, right? You put on a movie. Bobo, this is for you. I don't know. I watch too much TV. I probably should have autism, so I don't focus on TV too much. But what? That's the worst. No. I watch a lot of TV and movies and stuff, but I feel like I don't focus on the plot as much. Like I don't notice certain things that other people notice. I focus on weird aspects of it. So like, I was watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Remember that show? And I was like, she named her cat Salem. And I was like, that'd be like if it was a show about a Jewish girl and she had a dog named Auschwitz. Like that's kind of weird, right? That's a weird thing to name your dog. She was a witch, and witches do like really weird shit. Like they, my favorite thing to hyperanalyze is Hogwarts. That's a fucked up place. Hogwarts is a fucked up place. I was glad when Dumbledore died. Okay, it's a controversial statement, but I believe it wholeheartedly. Because if it were me, I would invite all the new kids in. I'd set them up in that big hall. I'd levitate the candles or whatever. And then I'd put the sorting hat on. Oh, where are you going? Hufflepuff. Oh, Ravenclaw. Slytherin. Oh, okay, yeah, we all know who we're going. And then everyone goes back to their little houses, okay? And then you seal the door on the Slytherin fucking house and you gas the whole place. Every year, you gas them. They didn't do anything good. They're all assholes. Just gas them. And I'm okay with gassing young children. But I'm not okay with using the N-word. My name is Roseanne Barr. Thank you for coming.
There you go. Even though he was funny, I think he's really blessed to be married to Elyse. You know what I'm saying? She is fucking magical. All right. All right, hey, and I just for the record, I don't like to fuck with young women. I like really old women who are damaged. And young women, you guys have a period and God hates you. All right? Keep that in mind. All right. Hey, I gotta tell you something. Already, this is the second day that I'm hanging out with this guy. And I already truly love and admire this brother right here. Everybody, out of all the people that you've seen tonight, I really want you to give him a little bit extra. Yes, very funny and wonderful guy. Put it together for Geoff Ramsey.
I appreciate that, Tony. I don't get a lot of recognition in life, so a little bit helps. I'll be honest with you guys, I fucked up a little bit with this in two ways. One, I agreed to go last because I thought everybody would suck. Damn it. Turns out comedy's not hard and they're all naturals at it. The other thing is, Tony's right, we've been hanging out a little bit. This is not my first time doing stand-up. I have been in your city all year, kind of gearing up to this and practicing. And I wrote a bunch of material and have done a bunch of material that is predicated on you not knowing who I am. You would have thought I would have figured that out a little earlier than the car ride over here. But I'm not a forward thinker. So I've hastily written some material that maybe it's okay if you do know who I am. We'll muddle through it together. How's that sound? So I live in Austin, Texas, and you might be thinking to yourself, why are you doing an open mic in San Francisco? It's because I do all my open mics in San Francisco, and here's why. One reason, Uber. Yeah, we got Uber everywhere. We have it in Austin too, but here's the difference. I have learned in this journey that every stand-up comedian drives for Uber in the day. And 100% true. And I'm kind of shy. I don't like awkward conversations. And so I am terrified that if I do stand up in Austin, I'll be driving to the airport one day and a guy will be like, yo man, I caught your set last night. It's a bummer, dude. hang in there, you'll get him next time. And then, of course, with my luck, he's training a guy. So there's a guy in the passenger seat, and he's like, oh, shit, that was you. I'm training, so obviously I'm a stand-up as well. Yeah, dude, man, I heard Richard Pryor threw up on stage once, too. It's cool. So, that's why I get on a plane, I fly to Dallas, have a 45-minute layover, then I get on a plane to San Francisco. Takes a fucking hour to get from the airport into your city, check into a hotel, come in here, and that's easier than doing stand-up in Austin, Texas. Somehow, in my head. Here's one that I wrote about 7 seconds ago, so it's not quite done yet, so you'll forgive me if it doesn't go anywhere. I have a big dumb beard. It is not because I am some hipster Austin guy, although I guess I live in Austin and I'm pretty fucking cool. It is because I travel a lot globally, and it's not a great time to be an American in America, obviously. I mean, I'm white, so I'm doing okay. But globally, it's not a great time to be an American. I don't do a Swedish accent, so it's hard to hide my Americanness. So the only other thing I can pull off is, with a beard, maybe Taliban. I'm thinking, mistaken for a Trump supporter or a jihadist? I guess I'm gonna, Hey, so from this point on through the rest of the set, it's gonna help me a lot if you guys think I'm straight. I don't know what your preconceived notions are of me. I know if you watch our content, you know I put a lot of stuff in Gavin. But for the next 3 minutes or so, just suspend disbelief. For these jokes to achieve maximum comedic velocity, you need to think that I am 100% straight. So, I was reading the other day that caffeine is the most addictive drug on the planet. You guys ever hear that? Yeah, well, it was rhetorical, but thanks. I think that's bullshit, and here's why. I've never sucked a guy's dick for a cup of coffee. Now, I'm not saying I have sucked a guy's dick for meth, for instance, but if I went up to you, sir, Russell right there, and I said, I just sucked a guy's dick for some meth, you would go, wow, that Geoff really likes meth. But if I came to you, conversely, and I said, I just sucked a guy's dick for a cappuccino, you would go, well, Geoff really likes coffee. And sucking dick. I fucked up my own joke. Geoff really likes sucking dick. You laughed at the end. Yeah. There you go. It's also bullshit because nobody really likes caffeine. What's the first thing you do when somebody hands you a cup of coffee? You try to make it taste less like coffee, right? What is that? You put fucking hazelnut and like agave nectar in it. You try to make it less like the thing that it is. Drugs are perfect the way God made them, right? If you're at a party and somebody goes up to you and he says, hey, I got some black tar heroin, you want to tie one off? If you're into it and you go, yeah, shoot me up, they don't respond with, cool, man, how do you take it? Like a cinnamon stick and some, whipped cream? No, you take your black tar heroin black the way God made it. It's ridiculous. Whew. Are you guys tired? I'm gonna sit down for a second. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take a break. You guys go on without me, I'll catch up. You know, you don't see this behind the scenes. We all go to comedy school. In comedy school, they hammer in, tell a joke, make a joke funny, make the audience laugh. But they don't tell you conditioning, work out your core. Just gotta catch my breath. All right, I'm good. I think I'm good. I'll do one more. So I work with a bunch of assholes. Yeah, you probably work with assholes as well. This is a dick-sucking thing, so just to give you a little preface. These assholes, though, they're all straight. Straight like you're pretending I am right now. And so I was having a conversation with them at work the other day about what is the most terrifying thing in the world to us. And we discovered, kind of unilaterally, that the most terrifying thing in the world to a straight man, it's not commitment, it's not, pregnancy, it's none of that, not responsibility. It's other men's dicks. Yeah. Like, another guy's dick is like Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers and Jason rolled up into one fleshy knob. And it's for the they're horrifying, right? And so that got me thinking. I posed the question, what would be more terrifying? Would you rather service a man orally or receive a man anally? I was surprised to find that my coworkers, assholes, they were split evenly down the middle. All the younger guys were all on board with servicing a man orally. They wanted that dick in their mouth. They were actually almost excited about it. They were really, they kind of, like I posed a question, they kind of went off to the races, they were thinking about it, their techniques, and it was bizarre how into it they got. Whereas all the older guys, they all universally thought anal's the way to go. And I don't know if that's because we're more refined, maybe because we've had colonoscopies. Maybe it says something about the difference between Gen X and millennials. I don't know, I'm not a scientist. Smarter people than me will have to figure that out. I personally would not want to service a man orally because I associate a lot of really positive things with my mouth. Like bananas and popsicles. I would be afraid that after engulfing a man's enlarged penis into my mouth while we made eye contact, his balls just hit me in the chin. Like after I survived that experience, if it was as traumatic as I just made it sound to myself, it would take me out of the moment every time I ate a banana for the rest of my life. I would never be able to focus on the banana. It would ruin bananas and banana-flavored popsicles for me, and this is a very important thing to me. So, funny side effect of even posing that question to the guys is now, anytime I eat a banana, I think the entire time about sucking cock. And I gotta be honest with you guys, bananas are still pretty good. They're like really good. Like, I might be gay, bananas are good. All right, hey, that's it for me. My name is Geoff. You probably already knew that. You guys' name is audience. Thanks for coming out.
Y'all, give them the love. All right. Hey, humans, you guys, like I said, you guys make this show happen. So right now, I need you to applaud for you. All right, everybody. Applaud for yourselves. Say, yay, us. Exactly. Hey, the open mic happens here every Sunday. I really think you guys should invest. There's a lot of great talent in the city, and people become famous. All right, I know lately you guys have seen Ali Wong. Right? You know, Ali Wong started the brainwash, right? So yeah, so people really, this is a great town for comedy, and you really should seek it out. Okay? Thank you guys. Good night.
A lot of YouTube stars get really big, then they go, I'm a comedian, you know, and they fail miserably.
Like, I remember telling one of my friends, I'm like, everyone always says it takes like 10 years to get good at this, but I am a podcaster, and maybe you don't understand what that means, sir. And I went up and I bombed.
Comedy is crazy hard.
Comedy is relatable.
Stand-up comedy is a conversation with you and the audience, and the only way to figure out what that is just to do it over and over and over and suck, and then get up again and be like, okay, well, what did I learn from that?
I pulled my car over, and a girl got into my backseat because she thought I was her Uber. Yeah, and she looked at me, and I looked at her, and neither of us knew who was supposed to be scared in that situation. And it turns out it still gets to be her. It does, yeah.
The goal in the next year or two for me is getting past a punchline.
Punchline, that's like the pinnacle.
It's kind of like the Mecca of comedy in San Francisco.
Kind of Funny is a big enough player in the entertainment market that Nick can take a lot of shortcuts with his stand-up career if he wanted to.
When I started doing comedy, I wanted to do it right.
And I've always wanted to do this.
The way that Nick does it, where he's grassroots, like making it happen, that like blows my mind.
I admire people who don't have the platform that I have, who still go out there every day and chase down that dream.
Stand-up comedy is the only context in which a man's ever told me that he loves how wonderfully dry I am.
Go with your vocal rhythm. Just remember the rule, 25 words or less to the laugh.
One of the realities that I had to face was that this is going to take a really long time.
1, 2, 3.
Time to party!
It's really tough to make it out here. And show business is very unforgiving.
Is he asleep or is he? You're with? Okay, the meatball sandwich just caught up to you.
What I'm doing right now is comedy. It's doing clubs, it's organizing your own shows, trying to promote yourself, and that's it. That's the grind.